3, 2, 1, and we are live here, and here. I love the days you get on social media and you look at yourself. I've been working away here and I realize haven't done my hair, haven't put any makeup on, look like I just woke up. Who cares? Who cares? The content is here. The hair is pretty crazy though. Oh, I need to go get that done. Anyway, welcome. You here, guys. We've got my personal page over here. If you're watching this, I'm going to close this down soon and you're going to come across here and get all the information. So if you're watching this now or later, my name is Diane McKendrick. You already know that, but I want to see you over here on Those Two Sisters Time to Shine. If my team is watching this, please pop the link down below. You guys over here, you guys are getting all of the content. So hopefully I can see who pops up because it is a doozy of a topic today. The newsletter was on it. The podcast is on it. I would recommend everybody go over there to Spotify, Rise and Shine podcast, and listen to the podcast because I've only got 30 minutes with you here today. And the podcast is really going to, give a deeper depth. Hey, Sandy, good to see you. Going to give you a deeper understanding of what I'm talking about here today. So I'm going to talk really fast. I'm going to get a lot of content in here. That is a really bad angle. Lucky you guys love me, regardless of what I look like. But let's get in. This is what it's about. This is the content. So feeling trapped or feeling betrayed. I did a call on it with my beautiful high-end clients last night, my VIPs and silvers, and now my Ascension Circle girls as well. I do need to share actually. We have secured accommodation for the next Ascension Circle, and that is in Cairns next year in June. We have only 2 spots left already. It's nearly sold out. So that's not till June next year. And this is for business women. This is for women. You can get business strategy anywhere. You can go anywhere, YouTube, other business courses. The reason people don't take action usually is because they've got lifetimes and lineages of sludge and crap in their energetic field. So at these Ascension retreats, what we do is we release all the fear. We turn all the betrayal, the feeling trapped, the not being able to receive. You're not going to be able to run a successful business unless you can receive. Not just income, but it's about receiving support and help and co-creations and so many things, ideas, birthing ideas. But because of the paradigm in which we've grown up with, a lot of us in these days, we get really trapped in the old way. So we're creating a new way. We've got 2 spots left. Please reach out. DM me and let me know if you would like to come away with a handful of exclusive, amazing, beautiful women and make this your reality too. So let's get into it. Are you feeling trapped or betrayed? What I want you to do is think back to a time, like you've all got one, where you were going along nicely in life and you were flowing along and everything seemed kind of fun and easy. And then in an instant, life threw you a curveball. And this curveball come thick and fast and curvy. And within an instant, everything was fine or fine-ish or okay. But then what happened is you got this information and it dropped you to your knees. Took your breath away. So one moment, everything was fine or fine-ish. And then from the next moment for your life was never the same because you got given more information. Information that possibly you knew instinctively, but you never trusted yourself to believe it or know it. Oops, let me see, where did I go? I've got to make sure I can see myself on here. Cool, I'm just going to move you guys over. So, like I said earlier, there's been a trigger warning on this because it is a very sensitive topic. And it's not a feel-good, fluffy webinar where we're going to talk about positive affirmations and make sure you're okay all the time. Only read ahead or listen, because it came out in the newsletter today, if you're ready to take radical responsibility and change your life. I invite you, if you're watching this now or later, if you are ready, I'm going to hold you accountable. There's someone banging on my front door right now. I'm going to hold you accountable. Give me 1 sec. How's that for real, hey? No makeup, hair not done, someone banging on the front door. It's on Time to Shine. Yeah, you can come over to Time to Shine, Serena. So yeah, I'm going to hold you accountable. I want you to put in the comments, let's say radical responsibility. My brain would be like, I can't even spell that. You're going to type that in there, capital letters. If you're watching this now or later, radical responsibility. If you are ready to change your life, type in the comments radical responsibility now, because I'm going to hold you accountable to that. Even you writing it, it's a bit scary for some people, is going to shift and change something. I'm puffing now because I ran out there. Change your life. So what we want to do is we want to look at our current pattern, what we're doing. So if you're feeling trapped, if you feel betrayed, you'll find yourself, most of us, and I know this from experience, myself and others, being busy. So you've forgotten about yourself and your happiness, and you're running around looking after everybody else all of the time. So you'll either do that. There's a couple of things people do. You'll go and just immerse yourself in business. Like you really create an identity and focus on business and get to know life through the business. And you kind of hide, I do this, hiding behind the business. If I'm a businesswoman, then I don't have to be vulnerable and people don't really get to know who I am. If I'm stressed, upset, or lonely, I'll find myself sometimes, not as much anymore because I'm aware of it, out here at the desk starting to work because it's a step away from me and it's safe. So some of you are going to be immersing yourself in business or work, working for someone else. I want to know what you're doing as well. Yes, radical responsibility. Yes, radical responsibility. I want to know what you do. So put it in the comments. If you're watching over here in the personal page, put it in the comments. Are you a person, if you're busy being busy and sort of distracted from your feelings, is it business? Is it mothering? Now, 3 types of mums. Mums of little kids, like the little ones that are attached to you all the time. Whew! I remember those days. It was intense. There's those mums, and we tend to be quite frenetic and overwhelmed because those little kids' survival depends on us being available to them, feeding them, changing them, loving it. It's an intense time. A lot of time. It's like quite hefty. And then you move into this stage where you get a bit more freedom. My kids' age are like 9 and 7, so they can do more for themselves. The other type of woman I work with is the empty nesters. So the kids have moved out, but you're finding, I do it with my kids. It happened this morning. So Ross is 9. And he wants me to do his bloody shoelaces up. I was like, dude, do your own shoelaces. Oh, I don't know how. I was like, well, I know you know because I taught you several months ago. But as long as we continue to do that for our kids, we're disempowering them. So you've got to realize where you're at, little kids, and give yourself the credit there because you can't spend as much time on your business or where it is, and you're looking after them, and they really do require a lot of your attention and time and effort and energy. We're moving on then to the 7 and the 9-year-old, around about those ages, and we've got to consciously like go through our life and go, what am I still doing for them that I'm disempowering them because they're not doing it themselves, like for example the shoelaces. And then what will happen if you don't pick that up now while you've got little kids, you're going to be one of the empty nest mums, like looking around. You got all this space because you don't have to breastfeed your kids anymore. You don't have to do the bottles and do the nappies and do all the thing, but you're actually still doing far too much for your kids and you're enabling them to be disempowered. So wherever you are in that journey, I want you to see which kind of mum you are, because if you're a parent and you're listening to this, a mum in particular, you're throwing yourself into it. So tell me in the chat, is it business? Actually, tell me what kind of mum you are. Like early littles? Have you got real little babies and you're watching? Are you sort of in the middle with middle-aged kids? Or are you an empty nester where your kids have grown up and you're probably still doing too much for them? I see you. So this is going to change your life. So we throw ourselves into mothering, whether it's here, or here, and we just do too much for them because once again, we're creating identity. We're looking on everything else outside of ourselves because we tend to always come last because that's what we've been brought up for. That's what we've been taught. So you're over there looking after everyone else. The next thing that happens for a lot of you is you are the empty nesters. And we pull back from looking after our kids because you've worked with me and then you're empowering them to be responsible adults and you're getting your own time back. And then your parents need support if they're still here. So you're then in this position where you don't have kids to look after anymore, but you've got decisions to make about your elderly parents and their support and the things that they need. So you might find yourself in a position where you're running around looking after them. And that's what us as women do. We look out there to see something on the outside of us to nurture, look after, throw ourselves in. The reason we're doing it, guys, is to block us and stop us from meeting ourselves. It is a distraction. So the other thing you might do is to make ends meet. Like you're always just looking for something to make ends meet. There's never enough. You're always adding the next book, the next personal development course, the next thing. I mean, reading books, not necessarily writing them. You know, I tend to go a little higher than the average bear and I just bloody write them. Speaking of that, look at this. Still on pre-sale to the end of the month. We're going to put it in for Amazon bestseller on the 5th of August, guys. I'm going to drop the link in below. Actually, I run a competition. If you want to win a copy of that book, write Millionaire Mum in the comments. Millionaire Mum. I'm going to give away some free copies. So I'll do the thing. So I'm talking really fast because I've only got like 17 minutes left. Let's go. So we're spending the time distracting, writing books, reading books, doing the next course, looking after everybody. And as you're doing that, there's stuff going on in the side of you. And I want you to think about, are you going through something excruciating right now, or has it been recent for you, or was it a long time ago in the past? I want you to get really clear about what the thing is, what the circumstance is, what that moment was that where you felt betrayed and trapped and that your life changed. Life as you knew it changed. So I want you to get really clear about what that is, even if it's painful. You are safe here with us. And once again, if you need extra support, go over and listen to the podcast on Spotify. So you'll find if you're feeling like this, whether it's you're wearing it on your sleeve and it's coming out, but you'll feel frustrated, defeated, overwhelmed, and that will bubble under the surface, and then you're going to react in different circumstances. You guys might have found yourself do this, like totally overreact, and even you go away from the interaction just think, holy shipples, what just happened? Why did I lash out like that? Like I totally overreacted. Yes, I see all the messages coming in. Thank you, beautiful ladies. Yeah, why did I totally overreact? And it's because this betrayal, and you're feeling trapped like a caged animal, and it's all percolating, even if it was 20, 30 years ago, that you're really like not living your truth, and it just like builds up and builds up and builds up and builds up, and it's got to come out. So just be aware of that and be gentle with yourself in moving through that. We want to make sure that the wrath of betrayal, feeling belittled, unacknowledged, and unheard doesn't become who you are. But I think it's important here to notice and recognize that these feelings are actually normal. It's when you make them wrong that the problem occurs and gets trapped in our body. So first of all, know that those feelings are normal. If you're overreacting, overreactor. Yeah, it's because there's a lot of stuff. So we can clear all the stuff, and then you'll be like, maybe not quite, but we're going to clear the stuff. So the problem starts here with this feeling of betrayal, frustration, trapped. The problem starts for people when they unpack in the feelings of defeat and overwhelm, trapped and betrayal. So we're going to visit down there. We're going to feel the pain, and most of us are going to get this. Well, actually not most of us. Some of us will get the support to come back up. You've got to hit that rock bottom to have the contrast in life. But the problem occurs when you stay down there, when you are entrenched in these lower vibrational states of defeat, betrayal, overwhelm, and your brain is looping and it's really hard to come back up. That's what we've been taught to do. The other problem occurs is when we make ourselves wrong for feeling it and suppress it or pretend it's not there. So that's when we'll lash out aggressively, and then after you overreact and lash out, you can add guilt and you can add anger to the recipe, right? Because you're already feeling betrayed and trapped and belittled and unacknowledged and unheard. Next minute, you lash out and you're like, okay, chuck guilt on top of that and frustration on top of that, and it's actually really painful. Okay? Other problem occurs when and this happens a lot, this is a big one, I want you to all hear this. When you infuse these feelings, these states, these vibrations, these experiences external to you that happen to you as part of your identity, and you start to believe that these feelings are who you are. They are bloody well not who they are. They are not who you are. You are love and light and full spectrum. These are just parts of the bigger pie that can pop up. But because we haven't been trained and coached and talked and walked through them, a lot of us are holding on to it, and that becomes who we are. We were the wife that was cheated on, the woman that did this, the woman that did that, whatever it is, you create an identity around it, whether it's conscious or subconscious, and in your internal mind, it becomes who you are. So then you look for evidence constantly, consciously and subconsciously. You're looking for evidence to prove that right. So you get the interactions, the overreactions, the circumstances, the situations, the dialogues that basically prove to you that you're an a-hole, that you are that you are the betrayal, or you are the anger, you are the thing. That is not true. So Definitely remember back to that mind before we go through the tips, because I want to have that fresh in your mind. I want you to remember the impact that it had on you. Was it a fall to the floor? Like, did you physically fall to the floor? Did you lose your breath? Like take your breath away, or start to hyperventilate because your body actually goes into shock, or feel physically ill, like in the stomach? Or you might find you were actually sick because your body goes into shock sometimes when we hear this information. Or did it enrage you? What did you do? What happened for you? And let's be clear about that, because we want to understand and recognize our patterns so then we can go in and change it. Yes, this one has really floored me. This is going to be good for you Sunday. All right, so top 10 tips. The first tip is to feel it and to release it and let it flow through your body. What most people do is they will bottle it up and they won't tell anybody, and it gets stuck in their body and it becomes a disease, an illness, an outrage, or just something stuck in your body that doesn't feel good and you don't consciously know it's there. So most people bottle it up and distract themselves, and it's the vicious cycle. Then you go back up, distracting yourself by drinking alcohol, scrolling, all the things I mentioned before, doing business, mothering and looking after people, and really avoiding time with yourself. So you've got to know what you do for you. All of the above except vomiting. Yeah. Oh, it's just, it's a tragic thing, but also it's one of those gifts and blessings in a way. But like I said before, you don't want to tell someone that's gone through this, like especially in that moment of full body reaction, but this is happening for you, not to you. There's a reason for this. They don't need to hear that information. They just need you to hold space for them. That's really important, and for each other. And so anyway, you got to feel it. You got to move through it. Now, this is why this conscious community is so important. This is what we do at our retreats. We stimulate a safe and sacred place for you to let this shit out. And you roar it, you scream it, whatever you need to do, you shake it to get not just this lifetime, I get goosebumps, lifetimes of rubbish, of sludge, and we release it and we let go of it. And you'll feel exhausted after it, but it creates this beautiful big space for us to recreate more of the good stuff, more of the things that you do want in your life. It's so extremely powerful. So next retreat, September 11, 12, 13. There's only one spot left. Please reach out. DM me, retreat, if you would like to come. I'll send you the information. So step number 1, feel it. Find a coach in a conscious community that can hold you in all of your rage, in all of your anger, in all of the betrayal, in all of those really deep emotional vibrations that just have us. You know what I'm talking about. I don't need to explain it. Tip number 2 in the top 10 tangible tips that you can take away today is don't make it wrong. How you feel is not wrong. But if you're not going to make how you feel is not wrong. Don't make yourself wrong. What most people do is they loop and they spend days, months, bloody well years beating up on themselves and making I'm such an idiot, I should have known. Your gut instinct, especially with affairs and things like that, you knew there was something inside of you and you beat yourself up and you chastised yourself and you didn't trust yourself and you question yourself. Don't make it wrong. Now, key point here is, firstly, don't make yourself wrong. Secondly, don't make that other person, that hey-hole that did that thing to you, don't make them wrong. That is not your stuff. That is their life, their integrity, their things that they have to fall asleep, put their head on the pillow and go through at night. That's not your problem. And I had this once when a boyfriend broke up with me. He'd cheated on me. And for probably a good 8 months, I did all this. Like, I looped, I persecuted, I victim, I rescued, I did all the thing. And I woke up one day and I was just like, really? Why do I feel bad about this? I'm not the one that broke someone's trust. He's the one that's got work to do. Send him love. Off he goes. And it literally was from that moment I completely let go. I'd done the healing, but I carried that around for a solid 8 months. I woke up feeling sick every morning. I felt unworthy. And then it just dawned on me one day, he was the one that was dishonest. He's the one with work to do as well. This is not my responsibility. I called it in. I trust that I called it in for me to learn something. And maybe it's just the very fact that I'm talking to you guys about it right now, that somebody else can take a piece of this and go, oh my gosh, it's not my fault. I'm not wrong. Everything is welcome here. We're human. And perhaps if you were the one that did the betrayal, that's another bloody topic altogether. If you did the thing, the betrayal, then you're going to have a lot of shame and guilt. Well, maybe or maybe not. Depends if you're a narcissist or not. You may not even realize you've done it. But if someone's betrayed you, you got to look back. This is pretty confronting. If you're seeing betrayal, you've done it. You have to recognize, if it's done to you, in order for you to recognize it and have an emotional charge to it, you have to have done it somewhere else in your life, and you probably deleted that information. So watch for that. It's very powerful. I'm not making it wrong. It's normal. It's friggin' human. We're full spectrum, right? So don't make it wrong. Don't beat yourself up about it. Tip number 3 is to question it. What most people do is loop. Oh, I should have done this. I should have done that. What if? You know the loops? And, oh, I caught up for the coffee with that person and I knew she was here and there and maybe they were at the home doing the thing back then. Whatever. You just question yourself and you loop all these different like awful scenarios that you're never going to know the answer to. And it's like down the gurgler we go. Gluck, 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 gluck. Wake up feeling sick. Go to bed feeling sick. Feel trapped. Feel betrayed. So what we want to do is go, okay, question it. What is the emotion I'm feeling right now? I'm fucking angry. I am livid. I am seething. I'm upset. Okay, good. Where do I feel that in my body? It's not wrong. It's part of the process. Where do I feel that in my body? Oh, it's in my throat. It's in my gut. It's in my head. Where do I feel it? What's it here to teach me? There's a message for you. These things are like living things in our body. There's a message here for you. So you want to go pull it out and go, what's the message? Like I literally do this with myself and my clients when we've got some heavy emotions. Tell me the message. What's the message? And then it will give you a message. Or you can loop. What he said, she said, here, there, everywhere, blah, 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 blah. I know what I'd rather do. I'd rather go within and go, well, what's this feeling? And what's it here to teach me, as opposed to he said, she said, and just the glug, glug, glug down the drain. It just stresses you out, makes you feel like rubbish, makes you feel guilty, angry, upset, betrayed, unacknowledged, unheard, trapped. So this requires a fair bit of discipline, awareness, accountability, because we're wired to go like that. Well, this community, this life, this society is the word I'm looking for, has wired us to be scattered of mind. So we've got to be very focused. We've got to be in our truth and presence. The other thing here is so tip number 4 is the drama triangle. So in any sort of interaction with somebody else, you'll play one dominant role. You'll be the persecutor and you'll be like, oh, I can't believe he did that or she did that to me, and angry and sling shit on someone, and you'll attack. The other option here is victim. You go into victim. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I mean, is that okay? I can't believe you did that to me. I'm going to be like rooted for the rest of my life now because of the thing that you did to me. It's just, I can't believe you did that. This always happens to me, like victim language. And then the third thing that you'll often do is rescue, and you'll go and you want to be making dinners or looking after everybody, but from this place of not enoughness, not this deep healing love and light. You know the difference. You know when you're trying to patch things over and just basically you're rescuing in order to make yourself feel better, not a genuine gift or a genuine act of service for somebody. So you'll run all 3 of those patterns in these dynamics. Now, the reason these charged events are so intense is because we're running them all simultaneously. You'll be going like all the voices in your head, another podcast up there somewhere, I think it's Tame the Voices in Your Head. You've got all these voices. And most of the time with the stimulation coming in, you can just listen to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 voices maximum. You're not crazy. We've all got these voices. When this shit happens, you've got about 116 all at once. You've got persecutor and all lots of little micro environments in between, and they're running simultaneously. So you don't know if you're Arthur or Martha, and you can't catch him, and then it's just like scattered of mind again. So you want to recognize what you're dominant in. Do you persecute? Do you get angry and attack? Do you retreat and victimize yourself? Poor me. Do you go in and rescue? You probably do all of them at once. And then you need to decide, what's the alternative to that? No one ever taught me this. The coaches taught me the drama triangle, and you'll do this, this, or this. And honestly, in an interaction, if you're persecuting someone or someone's persecuting you and going nuts at you, you'll naturally fall into the victim. This is really interesting. So what can happen sometimes, someone's persecuting, and you're victim. If you start to persecute back, they will drop into victim. It's so interesting to watch. I've done it. Gus doesn't mind me sharing this. I think he had the shits with me sometime about something, and probably rightly so. Can be a bit of a pain in the ass at times, and was just giving me a bit of like attitude. And usually I'm like, oh my God, I'm so sorry, because I try to be quite placating, or whatever the word is. I don't know what the word is. Anyway, try to be quite nice about everything. Neutral. I try to be very neutral. And then I just had enough one day, and I just gave it back and reflected back a bit of a persecutor energy. And then I thought, shit, man, that actually worked. And then he dropped down to more of a victim. Like, yeah, really interesting. Watch the dynamics, what you do, how it works. And then in these circumstances, when you're doing it to yourself, obviously it happens to you, to other people to you, but from you to you too. In these big ones, we want to start, these big events, we want to start from within. So the drama triangle, the alternative to it is truth and presence. You're not persecuting, you're not rescuing, and you're not victiming. You're in your truth and your presence. You're empowering yourself to be present. It's the easiest and hardest thing to do. Just be present. No thoughts, no feedback. Just listen, be, feel in that moment, right? Most people won't be able to do it. So drama triangle, so important. Number 5, release. I do a meditation. So releasing judgment, fear, and anger. There'll be one over on our Spotify, and it gets up in the next couple of weeks. But find a meditation and listen to it. That just takes you through a process to release all the anger, all the judgment, all the criticism from your subconscious mind. Because if you're not feeling that about yourself, you can't feel it about other people. You'll just be neutral. And I listen to it morning and I listen to it at night. It's very powerful, especially when I'm going through something big. Question your own rules and integrity. So tip number 7 is question your own rules and integrity. And these are why these events are so friggin' hard, because you've created an identity around your belief systems. That is who you've become. You've created a life, a lifestyle, an income, relationships around this identity. When something like that happens to you, you question everything. You question your own identity, you question your own integrity, and you literally sometimes have to go moment by moment. When someone close to you feel has betrayed you, and there's no trust there, it's a very scary place to be. So we've got to go within and get the trust within ourselves again. It's so important. Once again, that person can behave and do and act whatever they want. They are exterior to you. You have control. You're internally governed. When you own everything on the inside, nothing and no one can touch you on the outside. And I can't stress that enough. When you do this work, people's behavior might trigger you. Something I say might trigger you, but you go in and you do the work and be like, oh, that's my stuff, then that's not her stuff. And if we all take personal responsibility like that, the world would be a better place. So I've got my little notes here. Step number 7. So question your own rules and integrity and make a new decision with a new identity. What's the best thing for you right now moving forward? Because I think this is why it gets so hard, because it releases every model of the world. Like basically we spend our time trying to create an anchor and understanding and a safe place, and we associate safeness with this feeling of knowing. So when we feel like we don't know and we feel like the rug's been ripped out under our feet, there's no anchor to come home to. But you've got access to creating that every single moment of every single day you get to choose. Tip number 7 is trust. Now this is a big one, it's huge. You might have a challenging view on this, but a presupposition of NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, is that people are inherently good. People are not evil. They don't do shit to hurt you and blah, blah, blah. With their model of the world, their tools and techniques, their understanding, their knowledge, they're doing the best that they can, basically. And when you really believe that at a core level, regardless of what the outside world is showing you, you'll have compassion for that person. And you'll move through it a lot quicker when you're not trying to vilify them and make them bad or wrong or naughty, because that's really a reflection on what you're doing with yourself. When you have full self-worth, you won't feel like you need to vilify them because you've stopped doing it to yourself. So that's really important. Trust. Just trusting that people are genuinely, inherently good. We're here for the good. We can do shitty things, but we're not born to be evil. We're born for community and service and choice and freedom. So see how that feels. Tip number 8, we're getting to the end. I'm nearly done. Get support, guys. Do not start hanging out with all your mates that are going to go, yeah, he's an asshole. Take him to the cleaners or whatever it is. She's a bitch. I can't believe she did that to you. Get support of people that are just going to hold space for you and remind you of these tips to work through. You don't want to get 2 years, 3 years, 5 years down the track and still be harboring this guilt, this betrayal, this mistrust, and creating a life around that. It's too hard. It's too tiring. It is not who you are. And you've got to, this is so important, put yourself in and around conscious community of people that have got your back, people that are going to hold space for you to have the emotions, people that are going to not give their opinion and how they feel. And this can be hard, especially as a coach and a healer. I want to help people. I want to fix shit. I want to make sure you feel okay. It's not my job. It's your role to process the feelings and let them move through. The only way out is through, instead of suppressing them like most people do. Hold that space. That's why I created the business that I have. I run retreats, like I said, where women come and we pretty much unpack lineages of pain and trauma and betrayal and the shadow of the feminine. We just let it all out. It's so powerful. So please put yourself in and around a supportive, conscious community. You've got ours here, Those Two Sisters Time to Shine. Those Two Sisters Time to Shine. Come over and like that page if you're on here, and you guys keep commenting and liking and loving. I've literally got 1 minute to go. Number 9, tip number 9 is your self-dialogue. Same with anything. The way that you talk to yourself is going to have a huge impact, and most of us aren't aware of it. We just talk to ourselves the way our mum talked to us when we were little. And usually when we were little, in my age group, our mums were stressed. They had a couple of kids. In my experience, had money concerns, were working really hard, had 4 little kids. I was doing swimming, running and hockey, and the other 3 siblings were doing like football, hockey, swimming over here at different times. So they were stressed. And so we talk to ourselves the way our mum talked to us, or the way that we see our parents interact as well. And so we've got to be aware of that and really soften it and be very gentle and very nurturing to yourself. So let's do that. And number 10, right on time, is tip number 10 is to create a new identity. Unless you've known that you've created an identity around betrayal, persecutor, victim, anger, guilt, shame, resentment, then you're not going to know to change it. But if you feel shitty and tired most of the time, you have probably built an identity on something that's not in alignment with you and your higher self and your higher purpose. So we've got to be aware of it. And it really is as easy as getting a coach, getting a community. If you want to work with me, I've got a couple of different options. We've got the 6 steps to soul success. I mean, there's a million coaches out there now. But if you do want to work with me, 6 steps to soul success. I will drop the link in below. You guys all get a free ticket, you guys and you guys. So come along to that. Roslyn, have you got your ticket yet? Hello, it's nice to cyber meet you. You caught me on the day my hair's a mess and I got no makeup on, but it doesn't matter. I think I'm still wearing the same clothes as yesterday too. Anyway, yeah, this is the thing, right? You want to create a new identity of the full spectrum where we meet some of those emotions and feelings because they're part of life, but they don't define us. We don't stay there. We don't unpack there. We've got a conscious community who empower us, who hold us accountable to our behaviors, our decisions, our dialogue. Come to that half-day workshop. Now, if that's a little bit too far away for you, next Tuesday night, Fear to Freedom webinar. And that is literally when I take people from a debilitated, like 1 to 10, 10 being debilitated in fear. It's affecting their whole life. They can't take any action and move forward. I take you through the process that I do with myself and my clients. And last month, the clients went from 10 debilitated in fear to 2 and 3. Like, take action. Let me get off this call. Things that I've been putting off for years, I'm going to go and do now. So if you want to come to 6 steps to soul success, if you're watching this now or later, write in soul success into the comments here or here. If you want to come to Fear to Freedom, so 6 steps to soul success is free. The Fear to Freedom webinar is $38, so I can send you the link. It's well worth it. It will reduce and dissolve fears that you've held for lifetimes. Jump on that. Go over and listen to the podcast. I'll get the team to drop the podcast in the link as well. A lot of the content, but it's meat out a bit. You know, what do they say? Fluffed it out a little bit, and deeper and more content and speaking more directly to the people that I work with, I suppose. So yeah, please come along. I'd love to see you at one of our events soon. Thank you for tuning in. I'm sending you all so much love. I really hope from the bottom of my heart that that's been valuable for you and that you can take some of the tangible tips and insert them into your daily life. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And I will see you all soon. I'm going to finish all this.